Alright, here we are, Trickster, back to Endless Summer. I don't know what time it is when Ogla woke me up, but even before opening my eyes, I felt the imminence of death. My whole body ached, I felt dizzy, my mind was clouded by haze. Simyon, wake up immediately or you'll miss breakfast, and more importantly, the lineup. Looks like the camp leader intends to exploit me to the fullest today, same as any other day. I garbled something, covered my head with a blanket, and turned to the wall. In the end, Ogla's anger will never go beyond words. At least, I really wanted to believe so then. Stand up right now, or what I was going to say trembling, but kept silent. Not because of fear, but just because I felt too lazy to open my mouth. Really, what could she do to me? Lecture me at the lineup? Hang my foot on the wall of shame? Or use me for inhuman alien experiments? Well, I'm ready for that too. Just let me sleep a couple hours. Okay, but if you missed the lineup, the door slammed behind the camp leader, and the sleep which had begun about to fade claimed my mind again. Excuse me. I woke up dazzled by sunlight. It was 1 p.m. according to my cell phone, which was squeezing the last drops of charge out of its battery. Your phone lasts for 6 days? Holy crap, man. Strangely enough, my body didn't ache. My head felt clear, and all in all, it was a good beginning to the day. After waving my arms, pretending to do early exercises, I sprang out of the cabin and headed to the washstands. Yeah, I slept through breakfast, but we'll be served lunch soon, so I shouldn't worry that I'll have to stay hungry like I did yesterday. On the way, I met a pioneer whose face looked strangely familiar. He looks kinda like me. I don't know how I feel about that. Actually, I do know how I feel about that. Who is this guy? But I was going so fast I could barely see him. When I turned around, he was already gone around the corner. There was nobody near the washstands. Everybody is probably busy with Ogla's task and who knows what else. I quickly brushed my teeth, washed my face, and was about ready going to leave when suddenly I heard the sound of water flowing from the opposite tap. A pioneer leaned against the washstand over there. You know, I think I'm actually near the end of the game, which is pretty cool. Couldn't see his face, but judging by his figure, he looked like the one I saw a couple minutes ago. How are you doing? The sun's so bright today. I looked up at the sky, shielding my eyes from my palm. Yeah, nothing special. It wasn't easy to get a better look at the pioneer, given the way he stood, the bright sunlight that reflected from the water and shiny metal surfaces, and the washstands heavily obscured his face, and I wasn't able to distinguish any features. Camp leader is angry today, so angry. His voice sounded painfully familiar, too. Well, she's always like that. Well, you know better, yeah. I tried to remember if I've ever heard this voice or seen this pioneer before. Well, see ya. I turned the water off and quickly marched towards the forest path. For a second I thought of following him, stopping him, but I quickly fought it off. I decided that it's not worth spoiling such a great morning with suspicions and burdensome speculations. Fuck boy, you better go find this guy. Nature was glowing with the bright light of life. Lush green treetops were rhythmically swaying in the wind, whispering to each other. The breeze gently stroked the high emerald grass. Birds were cooing in the shade, escaping the midday heat. The woods, the fields, stretching beneath the horizon, were dissolved into warm sunlight. I don't know which month it is. I don't know what month it is now, but it looks like midsummer. I distinctly remember the summer vacations of my childhood and youth. Times of fun, leisure, and carefree joy. Childhood games, how many there were. I wouldn't say no to playing war games or hide-and-go-seek now. Or swinging on a bungee. Or maybe building a sandcastle and inhabiting it with toy soldiers, ready to defend their master to the last drop of their plastic blood. I went to the square and sat on a bench, waiting for lunch. It looked like there wasn't much time left before it. From time to time, pioneers passed by me, sometimes alone, sometimes in pairs or groups of 3. But always someone I didn't know. Alyssa, Yuliana, Lena, Slavia were nowhere to be seen. Thoughts about the meaningfulness of existence were circling in my brain, but this didn't worry me on such a beautiful day. And just thinking about, who could think of grieving for his life lived in vain or lost early while basking in the rays of such a friendly sun? Wait, what? Certainly not me. I looked upon Jinda. He was meditating, as always. Now he definitely never gives any necessary doubts. I remember my first hours in this camp, and the day before. The anguish, the anxiety, and fear. That all seems so far away now, although so little time has passed. Will I get out of here or not? It didn't concern me as much as before. Maybe I'm already dead. Then this would be the last stop. Please get off the train. What are you thinking about? I looked up and saw the pioneer I'd seen before. I couldn't see his face again, as the sun was shining in my eyes. You know, life. He seemed he would sit down next to me, but the pioneer stayed in the same place, only half turned, which completely killed any hope of seeing his face. Listen, have we met earlier? I don't think I remember you. Well, let's just say you know who I am. But I don't. I laughed sincerely. Here, you don't. He answered shortly. I see. Honestly, it's not like I didn't want to talk. I just didn't know what to talk about. And my soul was so calm that it didn't bother me. Your first time here? He asked the question, but his tone implied he was only expecting a confirmation. Yes, and you? Me? He paused for a few seconds. Nah, it's not my first time here. One might say I've visited this camp every year since my early childhood. Such an answer got me interested. Well, when was it like before? It's always the same. Olga being the camp leader, all the same pioneers around, all the same lineups at the morning, and all the same wicked accidents. For a moment I thought it was me speaking, not him. Interesting. It's just that with every new... He hesitated. Year, more and more interesting things happen, and one gets to understand better what's going on. What are you talking about? This conversation positively triggers my curiosity. It's a pity that I can't distinguish the face of this pioneer at all. Well, every section in the pioneer camp reminds me of the previous one, he said calmly. Probably this is my first. It shows. The pioneer grinned. But it looks like it won't be the last. Well, it's fun here and all, but you know how they say, there's no place like home, but you still have to get back there. And I was absolutely sure this guy was hiding something from me. To be precise, he stood out too much from the camp usual ordinariness to be too different, and was too different from the local inhabitants. What do you mean? You think I'm stuck here forever or something? I said, I said, enunciating every word. The pioneer had no time to answer, and his lunch bell sounded. I turned my head towards the loudspeaker, and by the time I looked back, the guy was already gone. Thousands of theories, speculations instantly appeared in my mind, but I stopped myself remembering all the apparent normality of this camp. After all, nothing supernatural has happened in these 5 days. Moreover, everything here seems too natural, sometimes even boring. Maybe this pioneer didn't mean anything by that. I just misunderstood him? Nope. Thinking that, I went to the canteen, intending to feast. Sometimes it seems to me that lunch here is akin to the crowds around the soup kitchens during a famine. Pioneers are running around, pushing each other, trying to crawl through for the first meal, and take the most comfortable table. I was calmly standing and patiently waiting for the cook to get my assigned food rations. Okroshka is a traditional Russian cold soup. For lunch today, we had okroshka, which I didn't really like, and cutlets with potatoes. I sat at the corner and mentally rejoiced that I was able to eat in peace. My table was the furthest from the kitchen. I can reasonably hope that the pioneers who were looking for a free place wouldn't reach it, or would reach it last. However, when I moved to the main course, Slavia, Shurik, and Electric appeared from the crowd. Can we? I had nothing against their company. Of course. Lunch was going surprisingly calm. Even Electric wasn't jabbering as it usually does. I finally finished the meal and sprawled in my chair and satisfied clicked my tongue. Listen, do you know this pioneer? I saw him today. You know, he's so... I suddenly realized I don't really know how to describe him. Well, about my height, same constitution. Hard to say from such a description. Slavia smiled. Well, we have a half a camp of such guys, if it comes to that. All in all, they were right. Why are you asking? It's just I met him today, and it seemed like I haven't seen him before. Look at in the canteen. I don't think he'll miss lunch. Why didn't I think of that? That's it. Okay, guys, enjoy your meal. I got up and started to slowly walk around the rows of tables. Lena and Xenia are sitting over there. I gave them a friendly smile. Leslie and Yulana are laughing and arguing about something. Olga is surrounded by pioneers. Good thing she didn't notice me. There's hardly any free seats, but the guy from this morning is nowhere to be seen. The situation is getting more and more interesting. Looks like I won't find him here. Maybe he's already had lunch? I headed to the exit. It was so hot outside that it seemed like he would instantly melt after coming out of the shade. I suddenly felt like sleeping. I yawned and headed to the camp leader's cabin in order to follow the domestic interpretation of the Archimedes principle. Whatever the hell that is. In the end, Olga is unlikely to return at any time soon. At least, I think so. And I will definitely have a couple of hours to rest. Anyway, I really don't expect any other options to arise, especially in this heat. The heavenly coolness in the cabin became my salvation. I took my clothes off and jumped into bed. Crickets were lazily chirping outside. The wind was shaking the curtains on the window, and I sank into a dream. Knocking on the door woke me up. The knocks were soft but insistent. I reluctantly got up and went to open it. Strangely, there was nobody on the doorstep. I rubbed my eyes and stepped out to look around. All the same, no one around. A dream, maybe. It was already 4 o'clock. I felt jaded. I probably shouldn't have slept in the afternoon. After all, I knew what was going to happen. Put on my boots, left the cabin, and locked the door. But where shall I go? All in all, there's not much time till dinner. A sudden thought came to me that it would be nice to refresh myself, so I went towards the beach. The sun had passed the midday mark a while ago. It gets darker early here in the south. I squinted and looked up at the flaming disk. Who was that just now? I flinched. The same mysterious guy who was standing in front of me. And once again his face was hard to see due to the bright light. For a moment the sun blinded me, so I could not see anything besides the faint contours of objects. Are you stalking me? Nope, I'm just passing by. He answered calmly. Then you should know better. So you haven't seen anyone? Correct. I rubbed my eyes, but it did not help. Why didn't I see you at lunch? I asked bluntly. I wasn't hungry. He laughed. I blinked a few times, and my vision came back. The pioneer had mysteriously disappeared once again. What the hell's going on here? And I was absolutely sure there's something strange about that guy. He must be directly related to everything happening around here. I will have to find out. But for the starters, it's good to confirm that I'm not mistaken, and he's not just a local pioneer. I was quite crowded at the beach. It looked like everyone from the camp was here. Well, no wonder, it's hot outside. Olga was standing just a bit further apart from everyone, keeping an eye on her army of pioneers. As soon as I thought that coming here might not have been the best idea, she noticed me. Hey, Semyon! You weren't in the lineup, and in general you are just lounging around all day. I didn't know how to answer. And just how are you planning on becoming a proper pioneer? She continued more softly. Olga, in the camp. Is there a pioneer who looks a lot like me? She looked surprised. Maybe, I don't know. Why do you ask? Oh, I'm just curious. Well, we have a lot of boys here. Alright, never mind. Someone's yell came from the riverside and Olga rushed in his direction. Looks like I'll be spared a lecture. I lowered myself to the sand and stared at the pioneers playing in the water. After a few minutes of sitting here, Yulana approached me. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well then why are you here sitting all alone? Just thinking. About what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you're chatting with a weird person, and you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple. I would just ask him. She laughed. Too simple. But he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Yulana didn't answer, just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something but won't tell you? Make them. But how? For a bit longer we sat together talking about random things, and I got up and said goodbye and went away. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. First place to visit was the bus stop. After all, this is where it all began. The road was empty as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. I was ready to turn and go back to the camp, then I heard someone whisper, "Don't trust him." Someone was hiding behind the monument. A pioneer was sitting there, his back to me, and asked again. The voice seemed strangely familiar. "Who are you?" I took a few steps towards him. "Don't. Stop. Don't come any closer." For some reason, I froze in my tracks. From somewhere deep inside, an assurance came to me, and I understood this that I shouldn't argue with him. Alright, I'll stay here. Have you seen him? Talk to him. He asked me nervously. Who are you even talking about? He was dressed in a pioneer uniform. You know who. After I suddenly didn't, and I suddenly did know. He was talking about the weird pioneer I saw earlier. Yes? I answered after a few moments of silence. What did he tell you? Brian asked in a pleading tone. Nothing really. To give you advice, did he tell you what to do? Threaten you? No, nothing like that. Of course, he seemed pretty weird, but nothing more than that. Remember, he may not be alone, or more likely, he is alone. But you may meet many pioneers who look like him. And what about you? Who are you? Who are you hiding from? You will understand, in time. Just remember, the most important thing is to find the exit. What? All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind came through, ripping leaves from the trees, throwing an old paper bag in my face. Shielding myself, I averted my eyes. When I looked back at the monument, the pioneer was already gone. At that moment, I was overwhelmed by fear. Real, almost tangible fear. I remember being scared in my first hours at this camp. But that back then, everything around me seemed kind of friendly. Now, Solviank revealed its fangs, getting ready to eat me. And ahead, the unknown. My body was covered in goosebumps, my throat dry and my hands were shaking. I tried to ignore it all and headed back to the camp. It was already dinner time, but I had no desire to go to the canteen. After meeting this second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me, if not afraid, then at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are. And even though nothing had happened yet, it does not mean I can trust them. I stopped in front of the clubhouse, but then realized that this is not the best spot to be in. I could run into someone, which is not something I want to do at the moment. Almost running, I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer. Well, two of them, to be precise. On the other side, all the other inhabitants of this camp who seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision to stand back and let everything resolve itself was under some serious pressure. At this point, it's clear to me I had to do something on my own. But what exactly? Everyone is probably having a dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to Olga's place without being noticed. I decided first to take my clothes that I wore when I arrived here, along with my cell phone. I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat. So, for the time being, I might as well hide in the forest. I leaped up the steps into the building. My clothes were right where I left them, and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. I quickly grabbed it and was ready to stuff it into my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. The tiny message window was open. The text read, "You're wrong, Simone. You are so wrong." It felt like my soul had left my body. I froze on the spot. I was shaking and my blood was pumping so hard. I felt like my skull was going to burst open from the pressure. It took at least a full minute for me to come up to senses. Olga could have typed this in this message, or one of the pioneers. It's easy to figure out how to do it, even if they're not familiar with this technology. But no one besides me would have known where I kept the phone. This event was the straw that broke the camel's back. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back. Night fell in the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot that I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. Try and run and kill every single person in the camp. However, on the other hand, one thought chased me, and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because some strange pioneer, or even because of that message on the phone. All this was reinforcing the thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my own thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby. So you decided to escape after all. I turned around, but I couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure this was him. I wasn't afraid then. More precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events, and somehow managed to reason approximately into maintaining the conversation. I wouldn't call this an escape. I answered slowly, stretching every word. Huh? Then what is it then? A tactical retreat. Brilliant! He burst into laughter. Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on? Who are you, and what do you want from me? What did that guy tell you at the gate? It seemed like he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. I lied. On the other hand, I thought it was what he meant. Well, that's always the way for him. Running away, hiding. I could hear irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you're running here, but I'm not gonna be part of it. Oh, why not? You're the star, after all. I hear his face. I can see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part, then. You know, I was like you in the beginning. The first time everything went peacefully. Then I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on, got mad, and even tortured them to get the truth. He laughed crazily. I shivered. But it was pointless. Continued Pioneer after calming down a bit. Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. First, I just heard their voices from a distance and sometimes in my head. Vague silhouettes appeared. Then they slowly took on physical form. And finally, they stepped into my world. I could touch them, introduce them to other pioneers. And they were all different. Different, you get it? Different! He started shouting. And it occurred again and again. You get used to the loops, but then I learned how to get into their worlds by myself, to interact with the others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today you saw at least one more. He felt silent. I didn't know what question to ask, and didn't want to interrupt his story, so I simply waited. After a minute, he continued. It's not that simple, of course. And it's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances, when you feel strong emotions, for example. I instantly remembered how I saw him the first time when I didn't feel any emotion at all, including the moments when you feel happy, as if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So you're trying to say there's several parallel worlds, including the same camp, with inhabitants where I am replaced by you, or that guy I met in the bus stop. Yeah, something like that. Stab. Nah. His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding, and this theory didn't even seem all that unusual. But you've said that everything reoccurs. Yes, it reoccurs. So what will happen afterwards? You'll start from the very beginning. You'll wake up in the bus, come to camp, meet Olga, the girls, electronic. But if it happened to you, then why should it happen to me as well? It happens to everyone. Once again, he laughs hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far? I stopped counting them already. At first I tried to remember them, though. Maybe a few hundred. No wonder. It was very clear to me this guy was suffering from a progressive mental dysfunction. So you searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. That's why the guy at the bus stop was talking about. Because he understands nothing, damn it! I shouted. Because he's just like you, constantly running away, hiding. What would you suggest then? If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you. Alright, but you were trying, weren't you? Are you trying to understand what I know, since I've been around here for a long time? He asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident. Yes, I did try to run away from here. There. He waved towards the forest. There's nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself on the bus again. For some walking along the road, it's endless. Talking to somebody about this is pointless. You probably already understood that by yourself. I did. I interjected. Even if you try to explain your situation directly, at best, you'd just be considered an idiot. What if you try not to leave the bus? It's pointless. Sooner or later, you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end, I fell asleep and everything has started from the beginning. And what if you start by yourself and leave? No keys. And I don't have the carjacking skills. A cursed cycle. Exactly! A long silence fell. Finally I asked, and what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions? Suspicions? Laughter again. The only thing that is suspicious about them is that no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. The people. I feared them at first too. Then I used them for different experiments. And now I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls. Puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action. They aren't worth fearing, are they? The only one worth fearing is yourself, he said softly. Do you know how funny it is when human bones crack and they slowly break from distension? Looks like he's finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but the other one thinks that it's a bit much, too. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here. The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Well, no, I don't agree with you. You're probably thinking, why didn't I check this all by myself, aren't you? Well, why didn't I try to reach all the nearest village or town? Yes, I did have such thoughts. Why wasn't I suspicious? Why would I do stuff instead of searching for answers? Well, yes. Forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far? Not that many. The pioneer was lost in thought. About 10 people, maybe. But I'm sure there are many more of them. And is everyone like this? In fact, yes. Only the details are different. But the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. And by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it yourself. I don't know if I should thank him or not for that. Well, and what now? Nothing, he said shortly. I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. That was a critical mistake. When I opened them, I didn't see anybody, just like the previous times. So it's clear what's going on now. But in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I'm not alone. Yes, everything reoccurs. But what's the reason for all this? What's more important? Where's the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that the local inhabitants were not worth fearing. And that was quite significant for me now, since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. As I took my things and headed towards the camp. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up in my head, even every now and again. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone, and some other stuff? There were hints, after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I can have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. The lights were on Olga's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in. Speak of the devil, here you are, the camp leader said angrily. Olga, I'm so tired now. Let's put off the lecture. Tired from what, I wonder? From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me with surprise. I fell to bed without undressing. Simone, a role model pioneer shouldn't behave like that. And how should I behave then? Well, not like that. The camp leader stumbled for a moment as if struggling to pick the right words. He should respect his seniors. I respect you immensely, for sure. Simone. The sarcastic in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now I like to sleep. Wait, by the way, how far is nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. There was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said, it's all in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent? I'm tired. Let's talk about it tomorrow. The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all just like the guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering and from horror. That pioneer didn't even have much credibility, but I have a feeling that he's unable to harm me. As soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask something else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. Day 7. Dun dun dun. Okay, let's save. Alright, I'm gonna stop it there and leave a like, comment, subscribe, tell me what y'all think. This is getting more and more interesting. It's been a slow moving game, but it's still very interesting. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!